What are we gonna do tonight, OC?
Well, the same thing we try to do every night, Bertram. Take over the world. I mean, YouTube. Take over YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Obsessive Compulsive Gaming. I am the Obsessive Compulsive Gamer, joined once again by my faithful manservant / fucktotem Bertram. Say hello, Bertram.
Hello, Bertram.
And this is my review for Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. So, my friends, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard was released in 2017 and is, unsurprisingly, the 7th main entry in the Resident Evil franchise. Did you know, dear viewer, that Biohazard is what Resident Evil is called in Japan? Therefore, in Japan, that means this game is technically called Resident Evil. Isn't that fascinating?
Oh, it is.
I don't recall asking you, Bertram. So, this is the sequel to Resident Evil 6. And as you might be aware, dear viewer, people did not like Resident Evil 6. I didn't like it either. I loved it. So much so that I always have a copy of the game tucked into my underpants. Judge me all you like, we can't help who we fall in love with. And back in 2012, I fell in love with Resident Evil 6, and there's nothing you can do to stand in the way of that love. Well, except perhaps bombarding my comment section with abuse, which wouldn't be very nice, but alas. So, story. At the start of the game, Ethan's wife, Mia, warns him not to come looking for her. Now, I don't know about you, dear viewer, but when I am told not to do something, then I must do it. Don't chew with your mouth open. Don't take that tone with me. Don't molest the alligators. I think you get my point. Suffice to say, Ethan doesn't listen either, and soon finds himself in the midst of a horrifying series of events that will see him contend with a family of psychopaths and bizarre mode creature things. So, rather like a visit to my own in-laws, then. Speaking of a family of psychopaths, they are called the Bakers. And all of them have a gimmick that affects their section of the game. So, for example, Jack will stalk you through the house, a la Nemesis. Lucas sets traps for Ethan, and you must overcome them. And Marguerite has a vagina made solely of insects. Now, I must confess, dear viewer, that back in 2017, when I first played this game, I thought it was a documentary about the common redneck family. But then I realized there was no incest in the game, so that can't be true. Moving on. Those of you who have already played the game will know that the true villain of the piece is Eveline, and she proves why you shouldn't trust old women in wheelchairs. They are indeed out to kill us all. In fact, there are two things I hate in this world: children, and old people, and Eveline encompasses both. Therefore, she is automatically granted the title of my least favorite person ever, making Hitler now my second least favorite person ever, and Randy Pitchford my third least favorite person ever. So, gameplay. This is Resident Evil 101. Explore, find keys, solve simple puzzles, kill enemies, and fight bosses. Oh yes, thankfully the game still has boss fights against abominations that have more private parts than a ladyboy of Bangkok. And speaking of Bangkok, it's not a place I'd like to visit. Sounds, much too painful. Bangkok. As in banging your... never mind. Moving on.
Oh, I get it. Banging your willy.
Thank you, Bertram. So, eventually Ethan will succeed in taking down Eveline and save his wife Mia. Now, I can only imagine what kind of conversation Mia and Ethan had when they got home after the events of this game. So, Mia, my dear, that was a fun little vacation, wasn't it? What did you enjoy best? I'll tell you what my favourite moment was. Do you remember when you turned into a psychopath and cut my hand off with a bloody chainsaw? Though, having recently played Resident Evil Village, I now know Mia and Ethan had a child, so maybe Ethan didn't mind that little episode with Mia all that much. I can safely say that if my wife did that to me, well, I would probably be aroused too. Never mind, moving on. So, what else can I tell you? Oh yes. There are videotapes you can collect and watch. And before you get too excited, these are sadly not the nice kind of videotapes that feature identical twins making love in a swimming pool of custard, but rather the type of videotape that only Hannibal Lecter would find arousing. Frightening scenarios that will give you subtle hints of where to go and what to do. If you've seen my review for Resident Evil Village, you'll already know what game I personally prefer. But Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is still a great game. Great atmosphere, great boss fights, scary as the contents of Jeffrey Dahmer's fridge, and some good old survival horror. Therefore, I am going to give Resident Evil 7 Biohazard an 8.5 out of 10. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, my review for Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. If you've enjoyed this little review of mine, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't enjoyed it, well then, feel free to give me a thumbs down. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, bell button thingy. Share the video wherever you can. But remember the single most important thing I always tell you, dear viewer, and that is to always stay obsessed with gaming. Say goodbye, Bertram.
Goodbye, Bertram.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm off to practice my Jack Baker impressions. Let's finish this, you and I.
Oh, very good.
Thank you, Bertram. Thank you. Are you still here? Go away! I'm sure you've got something better to do with your time. No, seriously. Piss off. Be gone. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen. Bye. What in the hell is wrong with you? Go away! Vacate this space! Hit the cross at the top of the screen! The video is done! It's over! It's finito! It's caputo!